Hello and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper part 35. We're on cycle 82 now, and we have an end in sight, right? So what's 82 plus 12? Because I believe we have 12 days until something happens, which I think is just going to be the end of the game. So 12 plus 82, maybe I should have done that in advance. 84, 94. Maybe we will finish this game on cycle 94. We are mid-cycle right now, because last time we had to leave before we spoke to these guys, because I had a feeling it was going to take a while. So we need to go to the other ships in the flotilla and ask what they need, basically. And what we are trying to do is find out everything that we need to do so that we can try and be as efficient as possible in doing everything we need to do. So let's go and speak to these guys first. Aki. I knew you'd come. Aki greets you outside the dust house, her eyes as bright as always. You are very welcome here, as always. Good to see you, Aki. Aki smiles. And you, Sleeper? Aki puts a hand on your arm. Walk with me. And she guides you past the dust houses. You look inside and see other members of the crew working in the orange dust, planting and tending to the steppe ecosystem. We are to be the suppliers for the evacuees. I am sure you've heard. We will put the dust houses to use. I mean, if the dust houses do seem to be as efficient or more than greenhouses, because these guys are making so much. Like, they're managing to supply people already, so it's definitely viable. We will put the dust houses to use. She leads you past a dust house where the dust is less, the orange glow not as bright, the air a little more clean. We are adapting slowly, but we are adapting. We are adapting slowly, but we are adapting. We have to produce food, clothes, necessary things for the journey ahead. She smiles. The plants of the steppe are once again sustaining a population, and that makes me proud. It's so cool that they make the clothes and the food from it. Aki stops at a half-empty dust house, scoured of its sand. It is being filled with mulch. We brought this from the greenway. She stares at the green and brown, a strange sight, even to you, now that you are used to the amber of dust of steppe. So they're bringing part of the greenway with us. This makes it feel like, it makes it feel not final but real, you know. Because this makes me feel a bit better about leaving if we're taking as much of it with us as we can. I don't know. Okay. I admit it is hard work for us. We are not familiar with these plants. Can you help us? Well, I do have some spores. There is too much to do. No, I will do my best. Aki looks away. Of course. I am sorry. She furrows her brow. I know that the eye is suffering, that it is at risk. I know what that is like. Yeah, they do know what it's like. We are just in the... it must be traumatic for them to see this happening again. Thank you. I wish I had a lesson to share with you from our loss on steppe. She shakes her head. But for the moment, I cannot see what that might be. She gathers herself. If it gives you meaning, the work here is steady and worthwhile. But if you do not have time, she smiles a weak smile, I will not blame you. Awesome. Hold on to your memories, but not too tightly. She pauses. Sadness will not sustain you. It's good advice. It's good advice. She falls silent, and you both watch the work in the dust house for a while. You can already see a greening fringe of moss on the mulch in the dust house, the first signs of new life. Will you soon be like the people of steppe, leaving behind a home? Or will you be stubborn and hold your ground, despite what it might mean? You wait a little longer with Aki. The moment, a welcome suspension in time. A rare moment in this rush towards the end. You glance at Aki and she puts a hand on your shoulder in solidarity. After a short while, Aki sighs. It's good to see you, Sleeper. Perhaps we will see each other again before we depart. She walks away, fingertips brushing against the glass of the dusthouse windows. Aki turns back for a moment, as if she wants to say something, but then thinks better of it and turns away. Do you think she was going to urge us to come with? And then was like, I don't want to influence the decision, potentially. It's just, yeah, it's so heavy what is happening, the decision that we're going to have to make. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again, is that I still am just shocked that I'm actually leaning towards leaving at this point, when I was so settled here and like none of the other endings made me actually want to leave. It's wild, but I guess that's life, things change. Right, Peter, the delightful Peter. The docking axis is in chaos when you arrive. The staccato burst of welding torches, the shouts of the crew gathering, the rapid flow of supplies and kit from dock to dock. You can tell already that news of the flotilla's imminent departure has reached this place before you. Come to join the Exodus, Sleeper. Peter approaches you from one of the working crews, a smile on his face, and a lightness in his step you haven't seen before. Well, that's a nice surprise. What does Exodus mean exactly? Hey Siri, define Exodus.
Exodus means a mass departure of people. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
Oh, a mass departure. No, thank you, Siri. Bye. A mass departure of people. Maybe. Depends. Not quite. What's happening? I'm gonna ask what's happening because I want to know what's happening specifically here. Why everyone's like what they're doing. Peter gestures to the chaos. The singers are rising, Sleeper. Peter eyes you. I suppose you're here on Sol's orders again. He winks at you. Nothing Ember's Hearth like to do more than ordering people around. I am here by choice. I'm here to help. Fair enough. Just your timing seems to always be a cycle or two after we get some request from the half ship. He shrugs an exaggerated shrug. Must be a coincidence. Yeah, it's definitely a coincidence. Well, Sol has it lucky anyway. His request for us to dismantle the Axis and the Vanguard for the flotilla's onward journey. Wait. Sol has it lucky anyway. His request for us to dismantle the Axis and be the Vanguard for the flotilla's onward journey to the Starward Belt aligns perfectly with our plans. Oof, that was a sentence and a half. What plans? To leave this damn place, of course. We've been preparing ever since the cordon collapsed. If we can build our escape and make the half ships think we are complying with their orders at the same time, then it's 2 in 1 for us. Peter shakes his head. Those idiots will never see it coming. Well, they're just gonna... Wait, this dude. Can I punch him? So... They're just gonna abandon and leave. I'm gonna just ask, are you leaving the flotilla? We are our own flotilla, Sleeper. How are these gonna survive, right? Hearth is where the people live, generally. The other one, Step, I think, is where the food and resources are. These guys are the weaponry, right? If I was getting rid of one thing, first it would be the weaponry, so... But how are they going to live without the other two? We're our own flotilla, Sleeper. Peter looks away at the busy Axis. We aren't going to tie ourselves to Heart and Step any longer. Why would we? To survive! Literally about survival at this point. None of these is what I want to say. I don't want to say to help them because that takes away from these guys. I don't want to say I understand because no. And I don't want to say silent. I want to say like, just fucking put that aside and just wait until, you know, maybe we're not in an apocalyptic situation. Then maybe you can go and find somewhere else to go. I'm just going to say to help them. This is probably bad. Peter scoffs. They are taking on evacuees from the eye. That's what I heard. So how about they help themselves before they ask us to make up for their bad decisions? What the fuck are you talking about? Peter looks down. Look, nothing against you or yours, Sleeper, but we have to get out from under the shadow of Step and Song. And this is the time. Peter grimaces. We won't let the flux catch us again. Not a chance. These guys are leaving too! Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And for the first time, you see fear in his eyes. No, I don't want to help. Like, I have to go and tell Saul what they're planning. Like, that's what I want to do. I don't care if they leave. I'm part of the other crew. Want to help us make that leap? Grab a torch, talk to a crew. You're welcome to it. Peter sniffs. Every person here is free to prove themselves. Let's see. Peter nods. Just a stop on the road, Sleeper. I'm afraid that's all this was. Peter glances out past the docking axis through the outer windows to the stars beyond. A lot of space out there for those willing to take it. I don't like this guy. He looks you in the eye. I hope you'll be around before we go, but if not, he smiles. Stay strong. I don't want him to screw them over mid-space, you know? And with that, Peter thumps you in the shoulder and heads back to his crew, with a purpose, a direction visible in every step of his rapid stride. So that's why he's got this pep in his step, or whatever you call it. I don't like it. Fair enough if they want to leave, but don't keep it secret, just fucking go, you know? I'm not going to beg for them to stay. The crews of Ember's Song are effective but headstrong and stubborn. They need direction and management, so we can do crew management. Axis reclamation. As the docking axis is dismantled and the individual ships refitted, as much of the material as possible needs to be reclaimed. These both get +2 and dock dismantling. The ships from Ember's Song will act as scouts and security for the evacuees. This means dismantling the docking axis. Yeah, but that's not what they're gonna do though. He's literally saying they're gonna ditch. I don't understand. So then the dust houses. Dust house tending. This to be used on the flotilla's outward trip. The dust houses will need careful tending, especially those being adapted to greenway plants and harvest automation. Dust houses efficiency could be massively improved with an automated harvesting system, but the step techs need some help. These are both 2+ as well. And greening step. The dust houses now have a new function to feed the evacuees on their journey to the starboard belt. That means many changes. Like, as soon as they get to wherever they're going, then the guys can leave. I don't care, but just be sensible in the moment. Right. I'm going to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we need 6 good dice in here. So we're definitely doing this one. I could even put a point into interface so that goes +2 as well. We need 6 good dice into here too, and this one is to bring the evacuees. So these are priorities. Evacuees and the food. We'll leave these till last. That's fine by me. Let me just check. What is this one? Engineer. Engage is the other one. It doesn't matter really because we have engineer. And in fact even this one it doesn't matter because we have intuit, so we can just do that. And then this one, endure again, but again we have engineer, so it's fine. But there's also the climb and briar, which is what we were working on first. because this one only needs 2 more dice. So this is to do with the option of maybe staying. This is our absolute timer, right? Next flux event is coming. Yeah, this is the end of all times, of all things. So let's do this first, because this is definitely going to open up new things. Right, how much does this give us? I might just put the points into interface. I don't know if it'll make a difference. Because if I get negative, I lose energy. If I get neutral, I imagine I'll get +1. And I just want it all to be neutral, but... So that's interface. Oh, no, I should just put these dice into there. If I lose energy, I can just buy food. It's fine. It's just a waste of a dice, but what else are we going to spend it on? Please, please. Okay, one. Okay. Same again. That's all we need. We need the 75% roll. Please, 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 please. Please, 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 please. Yes. Okay. Okay. Continue. Peak beckons you over the wide mess table where they have set up a terminal. The hours of bleary-eyed work have left you both drained, and Peak looks ready to collapse. You slide onto the curved couch beside them, something dark and malevolent filling their screen like an oil stain. I don't know that I really need to say anything, but if I say the Shadow Protocol, do you think it'll, like, give them inspiration? Oh, not quite. Peak's eyes seem to glitter in the screen light. This isn't what you think, Sleeper. Not by a long shot. You look again at the screen, leaning in close to the dark, curved shape to see its texture. You see walls and currents like a river. Walls? I don't actually know how you say that word. A dark flow, unlike the Shadow Protocol's dark tangle. What is this? You know exactly what this is. You have swum in this river, almost drowned in its shifting flow. It is the Gardener's Chorus, the dark cloud which blankets the Greenway's networks, the bioorganic morass of a malfunctioning protocol grown vast and strange. Is this gonna fight back? Is this gonna be like the antibodies of the Eye? I know this place. Peak glances at you. I thought you might have seen it, covering the Greenway like a shroud. Peak meets your eye. Everything I have tried to do to contain the Shadow Protocol has been a failure. It slips through any containment, absorbs any countermeasure. That, unfortunately, is an unavoidable fact. And yet, the eye still spins. The Shadow Protocol is being slowed, partially contained. It is spread across the station, as we have seen, but in reduced pockets, in fragments. So I started to look outside of our test cases, outside of these fragments we have been poking and prodding in our little lab. Peak smiles. And look what I found. Peak taps a screen on their terminal and you realize the screen is showing a recording of the data flow inside the Eye's networks, sampled from hundreds of points around the Greenway. You watch as a subtle shift occurs at the edge of the flowing dark curve that blankets the Greenway. Something spreading like an ink stain, somehow darker than black, it bleeds across the Shadow Protocol. Now watch. Peak eagerly points at the screen. You see something strange, a fizzing at the edge of the shadow, a sparking, and then it is gone. And beneath, for a moment, a millisecond, you see into the networks of the Greenway. You're reminded of an image you had forgotten, of pulling a plant from its pot and seeing a bone-white root ball where you expected to see dark soil. The white connections writhe like worms, and then it is gone, and the dark flow closing up as quickly as it opened. I'm gonna ask for an explanation. What did I just see? Hope, Peak sighs, wrapped up in something terrible. You think back to your meeting with the gardener, to the sense of something old and walled, and inhuman to its core. Peak excitedly starts to explain. This is the only chance we have, the only countermeasure we have seen. In the moment it opened, I detected something, a centralized intelligence with the local ID gardener. This protocol, this system, whatever it is, can protect the network from the shadow protocol. This is the front lines. But if it stays in the greenway, the eye will still fall. The station systems are too exposed, too spread across the hub, the shipyards, the spokes. Pete glances away. The only way is to break it open, to spread the entity's network access. I think maybe that needs a comma. To spread the entity's network, access it, expand it somehow. You want to let the gardener out? Peak stands up and walks away a little. They lean against the countertop, their head hanging so low that their long hair touches the work surface. You hear them breathing deeply. I don't know, sleeper. They lift their head. I really don't know. So like, the thing is, it's no danger, right? It's just, well, I mean, it did create a big void, what seemed like a void in the cloud, but like, my fear is, what if we let it all out, it all spreads out, and then it's not as strong anymore because it's not in a condensed area. It's a chance, it's okay, stay silent. It's a chance. Maybe. They shake their head. You know as well as Peak that this is it. You know it because over the past cycles you have run every simulation, every possibility you could think of, and still come up with nothing. You have stared a hole into your screen and dreamt of that black shadow creeping in at the edges of your vision. Peak recognizes the look in your eyes, the potent cocktail of resignation and anger. Let's say we do this, Peak begins, eyeing you carefully. What do we need? I don't know. They begin to answer their own question, thinking out loud. I suppose we need to do two things. Find a way to limit or control the gardener's spread, and then reconnect the greenway. Okay, so yeah, I get it. Get everything else set up first and then give them access to it. So it's just a bigger pen, basically. We're just giving the gardener some more acres. Peak starts pacing. The idea is coming quickly now. Controlling the spread means preparing the station. Limit the gardener's network to key systems. We don't want it taking everything. We just need it to protect the station's core functionality. Then, we need to reconnect the greenway, hook it back up to the main line of the network. Those systems we prepared, they should connect, and the gardener will spread along the paths we prepared. At least, that's my theory, Pete grimaces. But if we don't prepare correctly, the gardener might not spread, or it might spread to everything. Pete closes their eyes, and after that, things might get worse. It can't be worse than total collapse. I mean, it still could be total collapse though. It's worth a try. Don't say it, sleeper. Peak sits back at the terminal and brings up a map of the eye. Rotational control at the hub, life support at the free spoke, power routing at the Havenage shipyards. They stab at the map with each one, marking them in red. Then there's the central core. As I understand it is somewhere on the rim. I'd need to find it. They push their hair out of their face. We see the gardener in all those in all these places. Peak pauses. But how are we going to do that? Transplant the greenway, bait the gardener's attention. What does it mean by transplant the greenway? Peak smiles. Of course, the gardener needs plants to care for. That is what their protocol dictates. They must have been part of the farming management systems of the Eye back when Solheim built it. We seed greenway plants into those systems, and the gardener will seek them out. Protect them. Peak stares at the map of the Eye. It's a wild idea, but it could work. But, they pause, we'll need a way into those systems. Havenage have most of them locked down for safety purposes. We can't just walk in. I know a guy. Who are we talking about here? Feng? Peak raises an eyebrow. Someone in the Havenage Systems team? Feng isn't in that anymore. You nod. After everything he dragged you through, you feel like Feng still owes you. Time to pay him a visit. Okay, well... Peak looks at you sideways. I guess we should pay him a visit. Lead the way. You both leave the ship, carried forward by excitement of the plan and eagerness to not look at the details too closely. You push any lingering questions back to the back of your mind. Time to head to Feng's Bay. Oh, did Feng get reinstated after the whole deal with that dude? Maybe he did. So this is just the clock again now. We've got to go and find Feng's Bay, I guess. There's going to be some text there. Which is all the way at the other side of everything, right? See, now I'm like, maybe we do stay. I didn't know that there was going to be some sort of cloud war going on. This is all done, right? Yeah. Feng's Bay. Here we go. Find Feng. A difficult man +2. Okay, hold on. Feng isn't in their bay, and no one in the offices upstairs seems to know where they are. Your lone clue is out to lunch note. Feng is a difficult man. Feng is both never where they say they'll be and always late. While this is no surprise, now is not the moment for wasting time. So 3 dice here. We don't have any right now, so... Okay. I guess that's what we've got to do next then. Oh man, and that means that if we're doing that, we're not doing the other stuff. But we're gonna try and do both if we can. This is tricky. Okay. Okay, well, where's our unit? Here it is. I just thought maybe if he's out to lunch, he might be at the tea house place. Or at the noodle place. Okay, so let's do a squat. Let's feed the cat. We haven't fed the cat for a while. And let's end the cycle. I'm just trying to think, is there anything we've forgotten? I don't think so. I think we're good. It does concern me a bit. We have a lot to do. Oh, these aren't good dice, really. The 4s are alright, actually. Well, yeah, we can do this today. We need to find out where we stand with everything. So let's speak to Feng. We can certainly do this today. I think. I hope. A difficult man. A difficult man. I'm sure he's left another clue or something. Okay, that has a chance to be neutral. So maybe I'll re-roll and hope for one better dice. Okay, beautiful. That is much better, I think. You dig around Feng's Bay and find some notes that mention the flux. What is he working on? Hey, maybe he'll have some information that we don't. That's it. No more wasting time, Peak sighs and pulls out their slate. They crack open a box on the side of the bay's shutter and wire the slate to what's inside. Maybe our friend... Oh, we're just hacking it. Maybe our friend has a Havenage pass card or something inside. Peek shoots you a glance. Something they wouldn't mind if we borrow. They won't mind. Fine, but be quick. Peek nods without looking up. I'm going as quick as I can. After a few tense moments, the shutter jerks and begins grinding open, the noise making you jump. Let's get inside. Peek glances around quickly. You slip into the dark of the bay, punctuated by the blinking lights of Feng's piles of servers, somehow even more disordered than before. Peek makes a beeline for the desk at the center. Scattered with tools and components, they flick on a lamp and stare at the mess. Are you sure this person can help us? So, it's just funny. I'm thinking back to when we used to work with Feng on their problems with the eye and Havenage and over. Doesn't that stuff just seem so small compared to what's happening right now? I mean, it wasn't small, but it feels it. I guess that's what time does, and scale and perspective when you think about the actual entire eye shutting down. Yes, they can help us, I hope. You are interrupted by the sound of footsteps from the entrance. Someone has come in behind you. Peek freezes. Could never have guessed he was going to walk in on us. I could swear I closed the shutter when I left. Feng leans on a stack of servers near the entrance. Must be getting forgetful. He grins at you. Sloppy. Where were you? I'll just say Feng. I don't want to say these things. The very same. Feng smiles. Feng raises an eyebrow. Thought you'd come to rob an old friend? Is that the plan? We need your help. Although, I guess asking where have you been? It might be something to do with the flux, but I'm gonna say, we need your help. Straight to the point. Feng nods. You're here about the flux. Peek nods, and is suddenly giving Feng their full attention. Feng smiles, pleased with himself. I guessed as much. I saw changes in the old system architectures almost immediately. Some of them have been running since the first days of the station, and so when I saw new patterns, shifts in logic, I knew something must have happened. These past cycles I've been doing a total inventory of the core systems, from hub to the rim. He grins. I've surprised myself, to be honest. Didn't think I had it in me. This sounds useful. Peek seems unamused. And what did you find? Feng sighs. That's the thing. There's something all twisted up in the systems and protocols, but every time I look at it, it disappears. Peek finishes. Feng turns to you. Do they always do that? Peek ignores him. It's a shadow protocol. It masks itself somehow, bedding into the gaps between the systems in a negative space. It is slowly filling every system in the station, slowly taking over, and we need to stop it. You need to grant us access to all the core systems of the station, rotational control, life support. Feng's gonna be like, whoa, hold on. Yeah, exactly. Feng holds up a hand. Whoa. Slow down there. I don't even know your name. Feng shakes his head. And you are asking for the keys to the castle? Can't be done. Feng, it's me, or you can trust Peek. I'm gonna say you can trust Peek. I don't know why Feng would trust me with the keys either. You can trust Peek. Feng pauses and glances between both of you. How long have you known this one, Sleeper? I know I owe you, but I also know that you trust too easily. Sorry to say it. What do you mean? Peek cuts in. I can vouch for myself. I came to the Eye on the run from the XPR colony, Hawthorne, with the intent to keep running until we hit the Starwood Belt. But since I have been here, I have done everything in my power to protect this place. I have helped to stabilize the refugee flotilla, to investigate the flux, to identify and make a plan to purge the Shadow Protocol from the station systems. Meanwhile, Havenage has done everything to stop and slow these actions. I have proven myself as a friend to the people of this station, not the administration, many times over, and I will not be doubted by someone who wears the badge of this corrupt administration. Peek fixes Feng with a hard look. I think they've done it. They've won Feng over. They have to with that, right? Feng looks down at their Havenage jacket and shrugs. This is all I have in my wardrobe. Look, I have no love for the council either, friend, but someone has to run this place, and that someone is me. Feng walks over to the workbench where you are both standing and digs a slate out of the pile of tools. You want to prove yourself? Show me. Pete grabs the slate, and you recognize the tangled form of a flux node on the screen. Pete immediately starts tapping away at it, its tendrils unwinding, and the shadow, just slightly delayed, slipping out of sight. Feng leans in. Interesting, he says to himself. Before long, Pete has unfolded the system completely, and it lies splayed out like an unwound ball of string. At the center, with nowhere left to hide, is the dark stain of the Shadow Protocol, visible for all to see. What now? Feng asks, his eyes fixed on the screen. How do you kill it? I'm gonna let Pete, let Pete answer for sure. There's one entity on the station that we have seen purging the shadow. The gardener. Feng frowns. Who's that? Some Greenway hacker? Pete glances at you. More like an avatar of the Greenway itself. You explain the gardener to Feng, the feeling of descending into the flowing river of consciousness. You explain the network chorus, the non-human collective of voices. You tell him of the farming AI's offer to you to be networked into the chorus, dissolved in its flow. We would have been the ones helping fight this shadow thing if we, taken the ending of going with the gardener. Then you explain that by granting it access to the Eye's major networks, you hope to reinforce them. Feng is silent for a moment. And you want to let this thing out? He shakes his head. That's the kind of stupid plan I'd dream up. He pauses. I like it. He smiles. Yes. This place is rammed with weird protocols and forgotten intelligences anyway. What's one more ghost in the machine? I don't see what could possibly go wrong. We'd like to limit it, of course. We try to limit it, of course, Peak explains. That's why we want your help to access the Eye's major systems, to seed some of the gardener's spores into them, to draw the gardener's focus to those places. Feng whistles. So the way we save the Eye is by growing mushrooms in all the server stacks? He glances at you. Sleeper, congratulations! You found someone weirder than you. That is pretty... If that is how we save the world, I'm quite happy with it. Pete goes to argue, but Feng holds up a hand. In it is an all systems Havenage pass card with his picture on it. Take it, before I change my mind. What do you mean that's it? I guess we were hoping for more help, but thank you. I mean, that is pretty huge, literally giving us the keys to the things that keep us alive. Don't mention it. Feng gives you a look. In all honesty, Sleeper, I was on my way back here to start tearing the place down. The Shadow Protocol has me spooked, so if you're telling me you figured out a way we might fight it... Feng was ready to evacuate. He looks at Peak. No matter how crazy, then I'm glad to help. He smiles a tight smile. Come with us. No, Sleeper, he looks away. I have to keep on with my work here. Strengthen those systems, back up the data. The worst comes to worst, I'll need to rebuild. I won't let this place die. The last pieces of my parents are here among the data. Okay. Is this goodbye forever? Goodbye, Feng. Feng embraces you firmly. Stay safe, Sleeper. You take the card and leave the bay with Peak. Once you are outside, they stop you. We should split up, Peak looks worried. We've wasted enough time as it is. Head to the facilities in the hub, the free spoke, and the far side of the shipyard. Seed the gardener there. I'm gonna go find the core control center that's somewhere on the rim. They hold up their slate. I'll send you a message on the slate when I have something. Yeah, okay, so the core system is still somewhere that we don't know yet, so that's probably gonna be on a timer. Good luck. They squeeze your shoulder and you exchange fearful looks. You know, deep down, that Peak isn't sure this will work, but they have decided to act, to move with confidence, and for that confidence, you are very thankful. Thing is, it might not work, but we have to try, because we can't evacuate everybody. Jeez. Okay, okay, so here is the power routing. I thought we were gonna have to go in here, but let's see. Seed power routing. Well, thankfully we have spores. Oh, we need so many spores. We need to do it 3 times. Implanting greenway spores into the system here should bait the gardener into extending their protection to this vital system. So we need to do this 3 times for each one. So we need another 4, at least. Oh, we can only do it 1 per day? Okay. Oh, no. Oh, these are the 3 different systems. Oh god, I was starting to panic there, but no, I'm making it sound worse than it is. That's fine. Where was the other ones? The spokes and the hub. Oh, here. Life support. It's pretty important. Implanting spores in the greenway into the station's life support control systems feels like madness. Is this really the solution? It has to be. What else are we gonna do? The fact is, if we don't act, it's gonna shut down. So we can't make it worse. Like, we literally can't. That's just facts. So do we need to go up here? At least the general population doesn't know what's happening, so there shouldn't be a panic. Okay. So we've got these all seeded straight away, which is excellent. I still feel like we might need some spores for the ship, the dust houses, but maybe not. Okay, it's taking us straight somewhere. As you leave, the slate peak gives you chirps insistently. Oh, that was the time limit? Okay. You check and see a message. Found a possible entry to a core facility in Low End. Meet me here ASAP. Peak. Blinking marker gives their position on the free spoke side of the main block. Better head to the Low End. I thought that was going to be like a daily timer, but I guess when we're already on an overall timer, makes sense to just have it be, I was going to say plot related. Not plot related, you know, action related. Alright, Peak. You arrive at the coordinates given by Peak Slate, a rundown but active corner of the Low End, where a short, glass-roofed alley turns off from one of the main thoroughfares. You wait in the mouth of the alley, leaning against the wall and watching the street life go by. Children hop across grids scratched into metal floor plates, playing games of their own devising, while older residents sit and talk or play Tavla. Everything is just so normal here. They don't know. It's hard to believe that all this is a threat. It seems so concrete, so real. How can some intangible protocol erase all this? Yeah, it's hard to think, but then it's also like crazy to think our world is probably going to end sometime. Well, it is eventually, right? Wild, man. As you are watching, a voice calls out to you from one of the Tavla tables set up along the way. Casta, buddy! You move a little closer and recognize the sitting player immediately. Casta sits, Tavla pieces and board ready in front of him, smiling at you. Sleeper, my partner has not arrived for our usual game. Come, please, take our place. He beckons you over, standing and nudging you to sit down with him. A rematch is in order. You owe me a game. Casta's gonna be interested in this. Almost immediately, Casta begins the game. Everyone in the eye knows how to play Tavla. The methodical movement of the counters across their triangular points. A ready fit. Wait, what? The methodical movement of the counters across their triangular points are ready fit for the rhythm of life on the ramshackle space station. Most games begin the same way, with each player moving with independence, focused only on achieving their optimal early game setup. But there is a moment in each game where it becomes necessary to notice the other player, to anticipate the crossing of counters across the board. A point of contact, when routine becomes negotiation, and negotiation becomes conflict. This is a real game, isn't it? I recognize the board. As this moment arrives, this subtle shift in texture of the interaction, Caster begins to speak. I find myself surprised by you, Sleeper. I find myself surprised by you, continually, Sleeper. He looks over his glasses at you. The way you conduct yourself, for example, suggests an anxious refrain, a defensive, protective quality. But in your Tavla game, he pauses to move a counter. I see only risk. I think I want him to keep talking without me saying. But we might also just be like, what are you talking about? Risk, Sleeper. I'm talking about risk. Risk is, of course, necessary to play a Tavla. To move a piece is to expose it. But it should be done with calculation, with proper analysis. Then if the piece is taken, Caster moves a counter, taking one of yours with a practice swap, placing it beside the board. It is already accounted for. Okay. But you move forward with abandon, as if risk was just a secondary effect of action, a consequence, not its primary guide. He gestures for you to take a turn, a cause. I'm gonna be silent. Caster nods. See what I mean? Risky in play, but defensive in mood. He smiles. You move your piece. This locks you into being reactive, if you don't mind me saying so. You are responding, which means you are being led. He leans back to consider the board. This place, it mirrors you, Sleeper. It is also reactive. It was born from a crisis, the collapse of Solheim, and ever since it has been reacting without any central guiding principle. No analysis, no calculation. Just look at our refugee crisis, for example. It is all reaction, all risk-taking, and little risk calculation. At first I found the chaos enlivening, especially when trying to track its outcomes, but now I find it exhausting. He laughs. It always amuses me that this place is literally spun from the rim. Below this very stack of habitation blocks is the most important control facility on the Eye. That's why we're here, right? For the core. So I like what he's saying about it reminds me, I mean that's in any strategy game, I was gonna say anything strategy at all really, that makes sense, right? It related back to me to like my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I am very defensive in that, and it means that I'm always on the back foot and the other person is the one leading it and I'm being led. And that's something that I was working on, was like trying to be more exactly what he's saying, basically calculating the risks, like figuring out what ones are worth taking, and you know, just factoring everything in while also still taking the risks as well. It's a hard thing to navigate in life in general, but especially when things are when there's consequences. Spun from the rim, he laughs again. What better metaphor could you find for disorder? His face drops. But why am I telling you that? This facility is precisely why you're here. He smiles an unsettlingly warm smile. I mean, we know he's basically a spy, right? Based on the previous ending, where he like wanted us to be his information person. So we can only assume he somehow knows what we're up to as well. You feel a shiver through your body, as if something changed in the air. How do you know about that? No words come out of your mouth. You feel removed from yourself, watching from behind frosted glass. Your eyes dart side to side. Inertia sets in. What is inertia? Casta is still smiling. Oh. The risk you are planning to take here, sleeper, is not yours to take. Casta's tone is unshifted. He speaks as if there is still some casual conversation between passing acquaintances. You are leaping towards a chaotic outcome with no respect for risk. You see, calculating outcomes, that's my speciality. That's why I'm here. I was hired as a conduit for risk, as a collector of data that might pertain to its arrival. He removes his glasses to clean them, and you see something flicker across their surface, a shimmering stream of characters. This system, this station, is already theirs. Solheim's collapse meant a corporate fire sale. Assets changed hands. My employers, Senatstadt, bought out the entire system, and for the past 2 decades have been its one valid owner. Wait, what? Okay. A corporate fire sale. So Senatstadt owns the Eye secretly, and he works for them as a risk assessor. But to possess this system, the H1 system, he pauses, Helion to you, well, that is a matter of risk, of how much force, how much cost, how much conflict a clearance would take. He replaces his glasses. That risk must be calculated against the favourable outcome. In short, how much is this place worth to us? Oops. For a long time, the answer was nothing. H1 could offer nothing that would warrant the risk. But the markets change, the demands shift, and Senatstadt, we analyse, we follow, we respond. He puts his glasses back on his face. H1 is about to become the most important system in this part of the galaxy. He glances around. The lone CAN channel operating within a range of 7 or so newly surveyed resource-rich systems. The frontier town that feeds the gold rush, so to speak. That's the thing that's causing this, though. Are they the ones that have set it off? So here we are, re-evaluating the risk, reclaiming our property, starting up the CAN channel and clearing the way for what comes next. What? He sits back, looking at the board. He gestures. Your move. Not just you will kill thousands, you've already killed thousands. Presumably those planets, those moons are dead. You will kill, I'm saying it. I don't understand. They're just trying to kill the, right. Oh man. If I say you will kill thousands, you might correct me. You manage to force out the words. Casta looks a little surprised. I am the analyst, sleeper. I will do nothing. He shakes his head. Senatstadt, as a corporate body, will take the required actions. Of course, I do not need to explain myself to you, but in the role as an analyst, in my calculations, I see great promise in you, in your ability to enter systems, to shift them to your will. Not every sleeper has this capacity. I assume you know that. He smiles. It truly is wonderful, a wonderful happenstance of SNAP's technology. I imagine even they are not fully aware of it. Suddenly, I hate this guy. Like, there was a cold turn in the atmosphere earlier in the writing. That just happened to me when he said whatever he said. Your move. Ah! Okay. He takes his move, claiming another of your pieces, and as you watch, you realize the inevitability of his victory. I will make you an offer to come willingly or come by force. This station will collapse, we can be sure of that, but your ability to work with data, well, for an analyst, that is very intriguing. He pauses to push his glasses up his nose. Very intriguing indeed. That's not an offer! This is really bad. He glances around. Come with me as a collaborator or a prisoner. Consider the risk. On one hand, almost certain death. On the other, a possible future. Analyst or not, you must see it. No! This is one that... I am not going to be either of those things. If I do come, it's as a prisoner. But, no. I have people here that can help protect me. I hope. Oh, jeez. This is a turn that I didn't see coming. Speak now, sleeper. The game is forfeit. You must see that. He holds out a hand. You are of value. You are needed. No! I'm not gonna be owned by some shit company that kills thousands of people like they're nothing because of what? Ah! You feel a slight release in the inertia that grips you. Hey Siri, define inertia. Oh, he hasn't read it out loud this time. Right, so inertia means a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged, or a property of matter which it continues in its existing state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless that state is changed by an external force. Okay, I still don't understand what it means basically. Okay, you feel a slight release in the inertia that grips you, enough to allow you to speak, to respond. You realize that you are already in Caster's hands, that you cannot move from this place if you wanted. Is he literally inside our technology? Are we frozen? Peak. Sleeper, you hear the we came here to meet Peak anyway. I just then wondered if Caster had hacked Peak's tablet and told us to meet here. Sleeper, you hear the familiar voice above the crowds. Sleeper, I'm here. You are unable to turn your head to see Peak, but you notice Caster's eyes following them as they come up from behind you. Then you see Caster's eyes glance down towards his hands, concealed beneath the table. What has he got down there? Sleeper, Peak comes around the front of you and waves a hand in your face. We were supposed to be meeting, remember? They glance at Caster. Sorry, am I interrupting something? You cannot speak. Yeah, we must be physically stuck in place. Caster shoots Peak a wide smile. Hello, you must be a friend of Sleeper. You watch one of his hands lift, close to his body, some dark shape concealed in it. A weapon. Oh my god. Don't you dare. You try to scream, to shout, but Caster's attention remains partially on you, and while it does, you can do nothing. Peak glances at your static form. I mean, Peak's smart. They know something's happening here. What's happening here, Sleeper? They put a hand on your shoulder. Are you okay? As Peak stares into your eyes, you see Caster behind, his hand lifting, the dark object unfolding, and in the split moment it does, you feel his attention shifting to Peak, shifting away from you. As you do, you feel the inertia lifting, and you know this is the only moment you will have to act. I'm shoving. Screaming will alert everyone, but Peak might get killed. If I shove, at least we might be able to save Peak. You lurch forward wildly like a sprung trap. Your head strikes Peak's chest and then carries them back into Castor. Oh no, that's not the way to shove, not into him. Somewhere, some digital screeches echoing through the walkway. They tumble together and the object in Castor's hand skitters across the floor. You realize the screech is you. You get to your feet, grab Peak and run. How is he doing that? Oh, this is terrible. You run as hard as you can, the scream chasing you down the walkway as you shove through the residence, Peak dragged behind. You run from the cold grip of whatever power Castor had over you, the signals that locked into this body of yours that broke the connections and crawled up your spine. Eventually you stop, both you and Peak collapsing, heaving, breathing into the cold metal floor. When they are able to speak, Peak asks you to explain, and you tell them everything Castor told you about Zenithstar, about their claim on the Helion system, their reactivation of the Khan channel. Why would they want, if they are reclaiming a station, why would they want to kill everything on it to start from scratch? They're just purging it? The Helion system's growing important. It flows out of you in desperate gulps, unable to believe your own mouth as you hear these words coming back to you. Well, now Peak is in a lot of danger too for knowing this. We need everyone to know this immediately. Although, we don't need to cause a giant panic. Oh, jeez. All you feel is the need to push back against the cold hand on your shoulder, the vast cold eye that has turned to look at this system, the ghost limbs of the corporate control that are extending their reach. Peak is quiet for a long time, then they speak. We have to finish this, sleeper. They meet your eye. We have to complete the seeding of the systems. We have to set Gardner free. The thing is, right? The only thing is here, what can we do? Like, say we manage to get this defense up against the Khan system, then what? They are going to come in and take over what is left of the system, like the star system, or whatever. Oh man. To what end are we doing this? Just to fight? At this point, am I being too defensive when I'm starting to think maybe we do need to leave? Because protecting from the flux isn't the end of this. If it was just this random thing that was happening, then yes. But it's not. It is. This is dangerous. This is bigger than us. Because the thing is, who out there can we even alert? There's no one out there looking out for us. As in, beyond the eye. It's not as if there's a space police that can come and protect us. I mean, we still have to do it though. I want to fuck them over if we can. And it might buy us time. If the choice is between Gardner and these people, I will choose Gardner every time. Their eyes are cold and steely. I would choose anything over them. Like, this interaction that we've just had with Castor has very clearly shown us what kind of company they are. The worst of the worst. You stand together. The final control facility is here. I found it. Peak looks at you grimly. I can take you as soon as you're ready. Time's almost up. This is the only shot you'll have. Oh, intense, eh? Right. These days are long so far, eh? This is the only shot you'll have? But is that gonna end the game? This is where I get a bit concerned. I want to make sure that because they said this is the only shot you'll have. But I get a bit concerned about I want to make sure that the evacuees are on, and I want to make sure they have food before I end the game, so I would hope it would tell me. Anyway, we can click on the control facility and see what it says. Okay, this is a thing too. So there are hack facility, explore facility. There are powered terminals in the derelict part of low end. Accessing them is dangerous, but it will be faster than wandering. So that's interface. That gives us 2. This gives us 2 and Intuit. To find the core of the facility, you'll need to trace a path between Peak's backdoor entry and the derelict levels below. So, same kind of deal. Crack the facility. The facility Peak has led you to is decaying derelict, but they promise the core is still active. You just have to find it. So I haven't found it yet. Oh man, I feel like we are making choices here. Because this is also now going to take 6 good dice. The same as the other 2 ships need 6 good dice each. And I don't know what's after this or what's after them. Okay. Well, we might as well finish this day off. I think that's kind of everything. That was a scary situation. Well, we definitely want to use this 5 on something. I've lost it. Where's it gone? Memphis is here. Oh, it's here. It's right near our house. Okay. What did that say as a caption? Erlin Eyes Control Center. We were so close to it all along. We lived near it. Well, this is the entrance to where it might be, I guess. Right, this has already been re-rolled, so let's just... I don't know. I don't remember what we get for these different things. Let's just then do that, since it's a 5 turned into a 6. I think we just... I mean, I'm not doing this right now with the 1. I think we should actually use the 1 to get some energy, maybe. Oh, we can at least check. Well, I don't think we're gonna need any more spores, but we might. What happens? We lose energy, but we might get spores. We don't need to do that right now. We can do that if we need to. Let's just use this dice as energy, because tomorrow's a new day and we can see where we're at, figure out what we want to do from there. And we have a bedroom right here, so that's all good. Okay, that was the end of a heavy episode. Just so much like information, bad things happening, and it makes me think of the implications of if we'd gone on the Sidereal Horizon and been this spy for Castor. We would be being a spy for that company that's trying to take over things, so that would have been bad too. I just had a thought that Castor might have been working for some good forces, you know? A force for good. Not this. Damn it, man. Well, alright then. That is the end of this episode of Citizen Sleeper. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time for part 36. Bye bye.